Well, cryptocurrency seems to certainly be making that comeback, and with South Africa touted as a top cryptocurrency economy, questions abound on where its place lies. We've seen currencies such as Bitcoin and Lithium making some gains on the back of new developments, including news of institutional interest globally. And of course, South Africa being no different, with that uptick in transactions being registered. And for some insights, we are now joined by Christo de Wit, who is Luno SA's country manager. Thank you so much for joining us, Christo. I think let's start the conversation here. 2022, battering within that cryptocurrency market and really globally. What are some of the trends that we are seeing that is pointing to crypto being the comeback kid for 2023?
I think if we look back over the performance of the past year, we've seen a significant improvement coming off the back of a very volatile and bearish 2022. If we look at Bitcoin, the year-to-date growth currently sits above 75%, and Ethereum, the second biggest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, has had a year-to-date growth of over 50%. And these are very positive indicators signaling that we are entering more bullish sentiment. However, just to note that cryptocurrency is a very volatile asset, but these indications are very positive.
And just talking about that volatility, Christo, with South Africa really being touted as a top cryptocurrency economy, which I really didn't know, talk us through the makeup of an investor that would invest in cryptocurrency. What kind of investor is going into that? And as we take advantage of this comeback, how can South Africans prepare themselves to enter the market?
So we know that from data that cryptocurrency is, it's one of the more volatile, riskier assets to invest in. And when you have very favorable economic sentiments, there's usually more advantage or, bigger play at consumers and investors actually investing in these riskier assets. When the economy is more strained and we go through more tougher economic cycles, which we are experiencing globally, we see a retraction coming from these more riskier assets. However, what we can also see is that Bitcoin is usually seen as a hedge against inflation, and that many investors then also pull towards Bitcoin when economic times are a little bit more tough. What we see in terms of the demographics from the local investors, when we look at our own platform, it really does mimic, in some extent, what we see in other financial products as well. However, what we do see is that the male-female markup of these investors are a little bit more skewed towards the male side, with around 65% of customers being male and then 35% being female. Interestingly enough, over the last few years, we've seen that the average demographic and the average age of cryptocurrency investors are getting a little bit younger, with the average age sitting around 35. And more interestingly, what we see from a South African point of view and the huge uptake of cryptocurrency, it's estimated that around 10% of South Africans have held or holds cryptocurrency. Then when we draw that back to Luno, we can see that, locally we've had more than 5.5 million app downloads locally, which kind of, it really does validate the estimate from the South African side.
Well, Christo, I do have the Luno app, and that is, as you're saying, on those demographics, both my father and husband trying to push me into crypto. But let's talk about that education, because I think that's the part that a lot of South Africans hold back on, is not really knowing much about crypto, wanting to make sure that when they do invest, their money is safe and will grow even when they take that risk. Talk us through how South Africans can really educate themselves a little bit more about the opportunities of investing in cryptocurrency, and what should really motivate them when it comes to investing in crypto.
So education is very, very important, especially with an industry as novel as cryptocurrency. Luno is celebrating its 10th year this year, and from the onset, it's been very important that education is one of our pillars and one of our strong suits, which we strive to achieve. We really do motivate our consumers and potential consumers and investors to really educate themselves about the industry so that they know what they're getting into. Education is very important when it comes to any investment product, and what is critical from Luno is that we make that information easily accessible to all of our potential consumers. We have a very informative blog, Discover Luno, which has all the information that a consumer needs to learn about cryptocurrency, all of the different cryptocurrencies that exist, which ones are available on the platform, how to open an account, how to invest, and what are some of the risks that needs to be considered when it comes to investing. I think consumers need to really strive to educate themselves to make informed decisions. And as we always say, and we always implore our consumers, is always only take on the risk that you are comfortable with.
And Christo, we are running out of time, but before I let you go, South Africa will require crypto exchanges to be licensed by the end of the year. What are the implications for the industry there?
No, that's correct. So the FSCA declared cryptocurrency a financial product and opened license applications in June of this year, and the application period runs until November. We have submitted our license application, and the implication would be that cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency exchanges and players are now required by law to obviously safeguard their consumers and make obviously very clear what risks are involved, and also to operate in an environment that is regulated so that everybody plays according to the book.
Christo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And of course, that was Christo de Wit, who is Luno SA's country manager.